What's up, guys? Welcome back to Sit Down with Sid podcast. This is episode number 34. Today, our guest is the founding director and CEO of NXTTGENN, which is a single-stop shop to consult and help Indian students realize their dream of education in a foreign country. Being in people-centric workspace, which involved nurturing talent across multiple countries, it became our guest's natural choice to contribute to success of Indian students in a global environment. Without further ado, all the way from India, it is an honor for me to welcome Mr. Ashok Mehra. Sir, how is it going?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much, Sid. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for giving us this honor to have you on our podcast.
Thank you so much.
No problem. So, Mr. Ashok, before we kind of dive into the podcast, would you mind telling our audience a little bit about your background?
So I was born in Delhi in the last century, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And I spent my formative years and did my graduation from IIT Delhi. And then I did my master's in management from Mumbai, post which I worked with the Tata Group for close to 24 years. Mm-hmm. And as part of the Tata Group, I worked with, got an opportunity to work with many top executives in the Tata Group, as well as their clients world over. And then I worked for Wipro as well for about 5 years in the client transformation space. In both the companies, I left as a global head of business consulting. And then I started with NXTTGENN. I'm also a cricketer. I played for nationals for various states in India. I also got a chance to play in England. So that's about me. I've been a visiting faculty to a lot of management schools across the world, and have had an opportunity to work with top executives world over. So this is the way I have been.
That's amazing. Let me ask you now, I mean, having almost 3 decades of experience working for prestigious companies, what inspired you to switch from a corporate world to your entrepreneurial path by launching NXTTGENN?
So during the pandemic, last couple of years, when I was working for Wipro in the client transformation space, many people asked me a question saying that, how is your company working in the pandemic? How are you able to get people work from home? How have you switched for people, their offices at their homes, right? Mm-hmm. And then we had made this possible for people in Philippines, in many countries actually, including India and Philippines, which were like more challenging actually. And so during that time, I was talking about all the thought leadership behind it to a lot of executives. And then I thought I was spending about close to 16 hours a day, including my weekends, working this way. And it was a time to give back to the society, because anyway, I was helping those guys with permission from my company to say that, this is the way you can do that. Mm-hmm. And I thought jump into it, give back to the society. All my years I've taken from them, whether I worked in UK or US or in many other countries. Mm-hmm. The communities helped me. My companies sponsored me. They gave me patronization, and then I worked for them. And it was a time now to work directly with those people and to be my own boss, which is actually very difficult, Sid, to be your own boss. So this is where I thought of doing some entrepreneurial work, and then I switched over. Tough decision, Perfect. But I think in the end, I thought it was a good decision.
That's great. I just want to ask you one thing, being an entrepreneur myself, as you said, the corporate experience has helped you tremendously. 3 decades of experience is no joke. What do you have to say to people who say, you know what, you can become an entrepreneur without a corporate experience? So I just want your words of wisdom here to let us know, do you think a corporate experience is a must for anyone who want to become an entrepreneur in life or not?
See, Sid, to be very honest, in the beginning, when I was not an entrepreneur, and I thought corporate experience was a must, I always thought that way, that corporate experience is must before you plunge into an entrepreneurial role. Mm-hmm. But when I became an entrepreneur, I thought entrepreneurship is the key. You can become entrepreneur anytime in your life. You can be an entrepreneur while you're doing schooling. Mm-hmm. You can be an entrepreneur when you are doing your graduation. Any activity which you perform related with people, with the communities, and providing employment to people, getting them opportunities to realize their potential, you can do that at any age. And when I become an entrepreneur, I would agree with you saying that any age, anytime. Even I've seen people becoming entrepreneurs at 90 years of age in India, right? They've opened shop after 90 years and they have lived longer. So, so wisdom is, from my standpoint, anytime.
That's perfect. So I want to talk about NextGen. Tell us, how did the name and the idea of NextGen came into existence?
So being in the IT world for more than 3 decades, actually, uh, IT is the thing, all right? Artificial intelligence, working on technology has always been my forte. Then I
Mm-hmm.
thought, if we are not providing next generation understanding to the students and make them understand the digital ways of doing education and also getting and seeking information in a digital manner, what is the point? Because everybody is providing that help which we are providing. But
Mm-hmm.
through digital means, nobody is providing. I've seen that. That's one part. Second thing is, at every stage, using digital means, you will be able to improve the experience of students at every interface. For example, you're doing consulting with them, you're helping them to choose a subject,
Mm-hmm.
to choose a program, to choose a country, to choose a university or a college overseas, and
Mm-hmm.
seeing that what would be their profession afterwards. At every interface, you have to deal with them in a technology manner because
Mm-hmm.
these are zillennials and millennials. They don't
Mm-hmm.
understand things without technology. And since I have worked in these companies where 5 generations together worked,
Mm-hmm.
they coexisted 5 generations, right? In every company or corporates, right?
Right.
So I got an expertise to work with these kind of people. And I thought technology is the key to get them into. So next generation means to boldly go where no one has gone before, right? So that's the
Okay.
way it is. So technology usage.
So explain to our audience, like, how does the whole process work? Pretty much all the way from initial consultation to, the visa procedure, how they apply for universities, accommodation. Would you mind telling us, like, how does the process of next generation work if someone wants to hire next generation as their foreign education consultants?
So the first thing is, as I said, we are using digital means. So if I log on
Mm-hmm.
to our website, go and fill up a form. For example,
Okay.
the website will give you every information possible, but
Mm-hmm.
still you would need your apprehensions to be addressed, right? So normally in India, you would know, Sid, that the parents take the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
Students go in the background. The parents go
Yes.
and inquire about things because they are more apprehensive about their student, about their children. So they would ask a lot of questions. So website is for those people. So they start from there. That's part number one.
Mm-hmm.
Part number two is all the information which we have given over there.
Mm-hmm.
People contact us. So they have a lot of questions. Number one, uh, why do we need to go overseas, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
give the comparative saying that in India what happens and in overseas what happens. How do you improve quality of life? What is the benefit to a student? What is the career benefit over there? So you talk about all those positives, but you also caution to them saying that it's an expensive affair, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go overseas, you have to ensure that your students go for 4 years, 5 years. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
ensure that you provide support end to end. It's not that after 2 years you withdraw the support saying that child will be able. You have to have, just like in transformation program, like for 5 years you have to provide
Mm-hmm.
all the funds, you have to provide all the support. So ensure that parents understand it, that for
Mm-hmm.
4 to 5 they have to provide all the support still,
Mm-hmm.
even though they are going to the countries where they can manage themselves as well, right? Because
Right.
countries give opportunities to employ yourself while you study. Okay, that's part number one. So you address all the apprehensions one by one, and then through various means you get them talking.
So you were saying that, parents take the forefront in this whole process, and then you were saying people can go to the website, they can fill a form. I want to ask you one thing. Do you have a digital brochure for next gen that you provide to prospective students and parents?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have got the digital brochures, but I think I spoke a lot of things before we got frozen.
Sure.
So on the website, what you do is various means are there by which you provide information to the parents, talking
Mm-hmm.
about like what are the programs, why should they go overseas, what kind of support they need to provide to the students, and digital means. For example, they can call us, they can go on our website, they can log on all the questions, and we would be able to answer. We
Mm-hmm.
provide testimonials to them. We provide views from professors and colleges
Mm-hmm.
and various programs. And we help them to understand every aspect of thing, right? Every aspect of education. And then we give them time. So that's
Mm-hmm.
one part. Second thing is they can provide, they can get information from all the aspects, right? We provide digital brochures. We have also started going to Indian schools. We go to the administrators, deans, and the principals, and the counselors. They are the very important people in Indian schools, and talk to them and say that we would be able to augment your services. You provide services to the students. We would just augment. We would just assist you to ensure that the child is able to assess the capabilities of his or her in the right manner. And wherever the gaps, we would be able to fill up together those gaps and ensure that child is ready to get into a foreign university. All right. And then we help them to write their essays, because statement of purpose is the most important thing, because this is where you create a gist of your experience on your right from your childhood to saying that what is the purpose for you to get into a business school or to a various programs in a particular country, all of those kind of aspects. Then we are able to help them select a program. We get universities also pitched in to ensure that they provide all the help to help a student select a program. And then that assessment is given to the child. There are 4 or 5 options generated. And then we provide all the help to the child to select a program and a country, and then apply for the visas, apply for the admissions. Once we get the admissions done, the visa process is handled. Obviously, you have to go and appear for the interviews. We help you to the mock, because I've been in those countries, so I understand what is the requirement. We also help a child to create a whole profile through this process, so that when you go for a visa interview, you're able to answer all the questions asked by the visa officer, right? And then we also help them to get a GIC account open, get them a loan from a bank if the need be, and then help them to create a bank account and a GIC account, which is actually required for Canada, right? And then once a child is going there, then we also help them to onboard themselves in that country for a month or so that they settle in that country. So we don't leave a child until the person settles over there, and the parents are given to go ahead saying that, yes, your child has reached there, everything is done with, now he or she is on their own, and then you stop worrying about it. So all of these aspects we help the child with.
So that's good. I just have a few questions. I want to take you back on this. So when you said now during this process, you have affiliations with some of the prestigious universities, which I will talk in a bit. Are those universities involved? And if I understand correctly, you guys are the mediators, the middleman between the student and the universities. Do I understand that correctly?
Absolutely. So middleman is the word which says that you earn money out of it, right? It's a noble profession we are in. So not the middleman. We would say that we coordinate between the two. We are the coordinators. We are the matchmakers. We would say that way. And once we understand the needs of the child, we also guide them and say that possibly you have got different areas where you can work in. So like counseling is all about behavioral skills also, and say that, for example, there is a child, we are helping the child. The person is extremely good in studies. She can go to any school. Every school will take her with a lot of pride. But the child wants to do something in film production. So we are helping her to get admitted to, let's say, Toronto Film School. Right. Sure. And we have been able to influence the school to say that in her school days, to get her psychology subjects, sociology, various subjects which will help her to take that particular program. So here we have ensured that the school helps her to get her into a curriculum which is helping her to get to the graduate school in the filmmaking, right? So all of these kind of aspects we help with. Now, at different stages, we would see that the professors directly talk to them, and the universities we represent through various agencies. Now, there is a company which has got all these universities in 4 English-speaking countries, let's say UK, US, Australia, and Canada. About more than 1,500 universities and colleges, more than about 21,000 programs. We are tied up with them, right? So that they can provide us a common platform where we are able to search a program for a child as per the needs and aspirations, and accordingly place. So that we are not, I would say, mediators or middle people. We are the people like, it's like in IT company, you say we are the middleware, all right? So we provide all those kind of paraphernalia and support so that a child is able to get through those. Directly, it is sometimes very difficult and time consuming. It's a lethargic process. It's a long process. So people lose interest sometimes. So we ensure that, at every stage they're helped with. I hope I'm making things clear. Otherwise, I can go in more detail.
No. That's great because some of the audience who do not understand, as I said, we will be promoting this video in UK, Canada, USA, New Zealand, and Australia, and the audience that will be listening to this, I just want them to clearly understand, like if they have relatives in India who are trying to come to that country, Next Gen will be the one-stop shop. So I want them to understand very clearly what you do, how you offer. So now also I want you to explain this now. You stay with the students. Your process starts from initial consultation. It goes all the way post-admission submission and accommodation of the student, correct? Landing in the foreign country.
Absolutely.
So your responsibility ends right there, correct? And then what happens after? Yeah. And is that something? Yeah, go ahead.
So please. we are also in the process right now. We are right now conceptualizing. I've got a lot of feedback from people saying that, Ashok, yours and couples experience is too good. So why don't you extend this actually beyond this? So for some students, I'm also trying to work out a model where we create a profile for them. For example, a person has completed, let's say 10+2 in India, after which you have gone through 4 years of education. We would be in touch with the student during this 4 years of education, let's say in Canada, and ensure that the person is able to take certain courses, elective courses, or maybe certain experiences in corporate social responsibilities, go to certain countries. For example, these universities also help these students to go to Africa, to underdeveloped countries, to gain some experiences, to understand life as it comes, right? And then if we are able to connect with the students during these 4 years, we help them to say, create your profile so that post your graduation, you can go for either higher studies, create a profile and create a competency for yourself to get into a profession which is going to be more meaningful for you. Not like, you go for sociology, work for 4 years, or economics for 4 years, and then you start searching for a job. If you have a good profile, you can do masters after that, and then you can find a better profession, maybe in that country or otherwise. So we are trying to extend services beyond our making a person enter in a country, after a month get settled. Beyond that also we're working. But that stage is, we are evolving in that stage right now.
So I just have a question. When you say you're creating a student profile, is that profile being set up on a third-party platform? Is that profile being set up digital? Is that profile being set up in a university campus profile? Like, I know this is in the works, but I'm just trying to,
So we are, so Sid, I think you're asking very good questions. So these are done on all three. So the 3-pronged strategy. Number one.
Okay.
See, for example, when I was a visiting faculty, I used to obviously orient students in overseas countries or in India to ensure that they get the best platforms for their careers. That's point number one. Point number two is that when I was recruiting people from top 100 universities in the world for TAS, Tata Administrative Services, for others, I used to ensure that, we had, for example, certain roles for them. They are on the fastest career path. We used to give them, for example, if somebody from US is joining TCS or Wipro, we have to provide a career path to them, which is comparable to best in the world. So when we are taking top students from there, I knew that what is that we were looking at a student when we were recruiting from, let's say, Harvard or from Wharton or from MIT after only graduation, right? 4 years of engineering or whatever. So we knew what exactly we needed. So that's one part which is giving us an industry view of what is required by the child to be done during 4 years. So profile comes from there. The need comes from there. That's point number one. Second is aspiration of the child, which is like in 4 years, I'm sure in the first year, if the person is aspiring to become something, during 4 years, it is going to change. It is going to get modified. It is going to get transformed. So through digital ways, we are going to go by the child. We are not saying that, you should do only this because in the beginning you thought that way. So don't change your path. No, we would allow the child to change the path and we would facilitate that particular path. Keeping the end goal, which is to say that this is what industry wants. Don't move the post. Go according to this, but during this time, you can have various paths. So we'll allow that path, flexibility. And the third is if you are able to get through the digital media and then also influence the universities to say that we have spent so much of effort on this child. Now the child started here. Now the child is here. Look at the transformation the child has gone through. This is where it will be a proud moment for you to take this child Give more education to this child and possibly take in your fold. This is where you elongate a career path in a company. For example, I've spent 24 years in Tarsus, right? So that means they have given me a career path all through. Whenever I wanted to leave them, they gave me another career path, S curve, right?
Got it. Okay.
So we would like to work similar way, and we have our own stories, right? So what best you will bring as authenticity or credibility in executive presence, right? So this is the way we're looking at. But to give your answer again, all three approaches we would like to work on, but through digital means. We are not going to say that, it's not interface in a in-person manner, because I can't connect with the person in person. But through digital means, we are going to do that and throw all the opportunities to the child during this process.
Perfect. I'm going to ask you a hypothetical question, coming from India as well. If I'm a parent living in India, seeking opportunity for my kid to study abroad, if I come to NextGen, my question to you is, what is the percentage of my kid getting a job post-graduation? I mean, the reason I'm saying is, parents have to take loans to send their kids, not everyone has the resources, the money to send their kids just like that. So I'm assuming as a parent, they want to make sure that if they spend all this money, their kid will have an employment at the end of 4 years at a university that you guys help them pick. So once again, this is a hypothetical question, a long-term question.
But this is the question every parent asks. So it's a hypothetical question actually gets converted into reality.
Okay.
So it's like this. See, first of all, there are countries like Canada. They provide you help during education. Also, you can do some part-time job. All right. Now, part-time job is not to earn money. Part-time job is to get experience. Part-time job is to acclimatize a student to say that, you have to fund your own studies.
Right.
In overseas, I've seen most of the English-speaking countries. So I've got experience in many countries, but I think I've lived in many English-speaking countries mostly. If I say that after school, the child is left on his or her own, right? To say you fund your education on your own. An Indian child, if they have to settle overseas in terms of employment, they have to get used to such thing. And it takes time. Here, like until you get married, you're supported by your parents.
Yes.
Right. I have supported my child to get, MBA degree.
Yes.
Until then, I have spent all the money. But I have seen my UK friends, my friends in the US, right? They have stopped funding the child after 12th. So, but when you walk to study there, you have to get acclimatized to that culture of working. So start when you are at the school itself in 4 years, right? And we would help you because, as I said, there are ways to help you because I have got so many acquaintances overseas who will help you to get that kind of internship. Okay, that's part number one. Part number two is, yes, we would see if you have taken loan from a bank, we would also be ensuring that you go to a university where it's maybe a vocational course you take up. You take up a course where immediately you get employment, right? Because in Canada, if you work for 4 years, you get 3 years of post-study work permit. That's a very good facility you get. In Australia and New Zealand, everywhere you get such kind of opportunities, right? So you know that your child would certainly get, employment after completing the studies, and obviously you help them when you create a profile. You help them. So I think depending on the need of the child, if they have taken a loan, we would ensure that they get that kind of education, which will get them employment immediately after it, within 2 months or 3 months, so that they are able to get the return on their investment. If the child has got a lot of money, the child says, no, I just want to study, then we would say, why don't you do post-graduation? Why don't you go into a different field altogether? It also depends on the way you create a profile. See, when they experience us, when they experience the school, and they see the commonality part, then they would say that, we are making a lot of sense to them, which is why next generation. So next generation, two standpoints. Now I think it makes more sense for me to clarify two more things on next gen, because I'm also going step by step. First was, I said, digital means. Now I'm saying that next generation means we're not going to leave you only through graduation. We'll go next gen. Second thing is, all our services are going to match zillennials and millennials needs. It's not going to, see, we are working with also those people who are going for post-graduation, but they were still born in 1990 afterwards, right? So they're millennials or zillennials still. So if you're able to match them, and match their understanding of things and the employment, it makes sense then. So we will keep moving our post according to their needs as the time goes by.
That's great. Thanks for clarification. I want to ask you, on an average, what is the time duration? Once again, every case is different, but on an average, what is the time duration from initial consultation to approval of visa, university admissions, and so forth?
It is about 6 to 7 months, right?
6 to 7 months. Okay.
In a normal form. But we are also targeting students who are just gone to 12th standard.
Okay.
Because this is where we can shape them. We can make them ready. Sid, would you mind if I give a small example from my own experience?
Please.
Right. So when I was in 8th standard, my father was a scientist with Ministry of Defense. He used to take me to IIT Delhi. When I was in 8th, okay, and I used to see this college in various seminars he used to attend. He would take me to IIT Delhi, sometimes to IIT Mumbai, and I used to say, oh, this college is so huge. It has got a play area. It's about 300 acres land, right? And then he said, would you like to study in this school? I said, yes. He said, you have to work hard. So from A standard, he made me ready for IIT Delhi. All right.
Okay.
I used to talk to professors at A standard, and they used to tell me, you study mathematics in this particular manner. And after 12th, I went to IIT. So I'm trying to say that we are also picking up students who have just come to 12th and people who have just come to 11 to choose their subjects, to choose certain things or play certain things or get interested in certain extracurricular activities, which will help them to get to the best schools in these countries, right? So there it would take more than a year or so because we're counseling them right from 11th standard. Okay. But if a student comes from 12th and the person gets connected with us, it's about 6 to 8 months kind of affair because, you would search all these things. If you have to prepare for fall, you have to start November or December of the previous year, right? This is like
Got it. Yes. So I want to ask you. So let me ask you now. Worst case scenario. I'm throwing this out there. What if the visa of the prospective student is denied, although he has been accepted and you have done all this work? What happens then?
So there are some interventions at the visa stage as well, right? I have seen some of the students in the past. Some people told me, right? I did not have our own experience like that, but in the past, people said to us. But then when we clarified certain things, right, and we maybe in those cases the student was not prepared to answer well during the visa interviews, right? So we prepared and provided all the clarifications, and we reapplied. I've seen some experiences where people reapplied and they got after 6 months. It's only it's a loss of, for example, they went instead of fall, they went in the spring or summers. Like that's the only difference. But I think we are able to crack it. It's not that it is difficult, but if it does not come from a particular country, then there are many other options, right? You can go to different countries. The point here is that if you have the right kind of credentials, right, and you want to do certain things, maybe some other things open up. But I think this is a good question. We have seen 1 or 2 cases, but when we reapplied, they got into it. Maybe they got a delayed admission. That's it.
Okay, so that's good. That's actually very good to know.
Few times it happens, right?
Okay, that's good to know. Couple of things I also want to ask on this before I move to the entrepreneurial side. Now, is there a way you keep up with the new trends, the academic changes, and evolving campus cultures overseas? Is there a metric in place? Would you mind explaining to our audience? How do you?
So few things. See, from experience, I can say that I have got a natural flair of coaching, right? I've been an executive coach as well. So I coach a lot of CEOs, okay? And so CEOs, as you know that if I say I coach a CEO, obviously CEO is already educated. CEO is very successful. But when you are successful, you lose out on your work-life balance. You lose out on your workaholism. You lose out on various things, right? And then you help out as a lifeguard to them. So I got a natural flame. So this is all experience, right? This is all experience. We have gone to the websites of various business schools, of various graduate schools in these countries, and we have seen the videos. In fact, I have gone through about 5 counseling courses myself.
Oh, wow.
From these schools only. And there, as I said, we are also connected with certain people who have got links with all these universities and colleges, more than 1,500, more than so many 21,000 programs, right? And they have given us opportunities to understand the counseling process. So even though I'm experienced so much, still I'm going through the counseling process because I do not want to lose out on saying I have not done this. I want to cover every aspect of counseling.
Mm-hmm.
And since I know what counseling and coaching is all about,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to miss a single point there. So to say that we have prepared, we have gone through those courses, number one. Number
Mm-hmm.
two, when a university is projecting a video saying that
Mm-hmm.
this program, what happens after this? So I got a nephew in my family
Mm-hmm.
who was from IIT Delhi. He was my junior from IIT Delhi. And then he has gone into the music world. Right now, he's ruling the music industry in the US. He's working with Spielberg, where he's providing digital music to them, right? So I'm also in contact with such kind of people to say that what are the alternatives of people who go into technology space, right? So I'm tying up with those people to understand what are the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. I'm also working with a lot of professors to understand because they're all professors. Either they are my peers from my IIT Delhi.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
many are Kellogg's. I've got professors, head of the departments who were my classmates in IIT Delhi. So I'm in touch with all of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what best because they provide me, um, selfless support. They would
Mm-hmm.
not have any issues. If I go to a competitor, person would have it. So to come back to and ask answer in a very crisp and a brief manner, I would say that
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, yes. We are
Okay.
absolutely thorough with every trend and aspect of what goes in education there. Because I was also teaching there, so I know what exactly it means, right? I'm able to give them a comparative to a student saying that if you go to modern school in Delhi, and if you go to, let's say, I would say, Princeton, you will
Right.
find this. If you go to Cupertino School District, this is going to be different. If you go to, let's say, Prune Ridge, it is going to be different. If you go to Homestead, this is the thing going to be different. See, mind you, I have worked with Apple. I was the relationship head. I was the founder of Apple relationship with TCS, and I
Oh,
worked
wow.
with Steve Jobs kind of teams. And at that time, iPod, iPad, and iPhone were actually secret projects we used to work with them in early 2000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I used to go to school districts to understand what should be there in the palm top or a laptop. So I understand how they have transformed over 20 years, 2 decades to become what they are today. So I think,
Mm-hmm.
again, to say that, yes, absolutely, we are in touch with them. So we understand the trends.
Very
And
good.
that
Very
we
good.
spill over to the student, we spill over all the knowledge to the students. So they are completely equipped with what is the best for them today.
Perfect. Uh, Last question on next gen I want to touch is your core competence. There are a lot of other foreign overseas education consultants in Delhi, India as well. My question to you is what separates you guys, next gen, from the other consultants out there?
So first, my success is all my experience will go through them. It's my second innings, right? So I've seen my corporate life. It's my second innings. So my profit objectives are minimal.
Mm-hmm.
My objectives are more noble in nature. For
Mm-hmm.
me, the success means if a child comes to me,
Mm-hmm.
according to the aspiration, need, and the skills of the person, we are getting the person the best education overseas.
Mm-hmm.
If that person is successful, that's my success. It's not student success as much as mine, right?
Okay.
So I'm here the kingmaker, right? So I would say that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's point number one. And through the whole process, I'm not charging anything, right? I'm just helping the student go there because in second inning, as I said, my profit making is minimal. I'm not looking at profiteering. Whereas possibly other people, they're making the careers in this kind of field, right? So they're earning money out of it. For me, it's very simple. If the student is get there, that's the best for me. That's the reward for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I'm able to sustain myself through various, financial means. That we have got our own financial means of doing it. But if a child is getting into best schools sometimes, right? They say, yeah, Ashok, we would like to pay, Mehentana, or we would like to pay for your work. Thank you so much, because that will also be utilized in the company itself, right? Because by God grace, we are full in a bucket, right? So that's what we are trying to say. So the difference between us and them is, for us, the success is the child, complete success is the
Perfect.
child, and post that also. Possibly for them, it is both. When you have got two parameters, you always have a dilemma. Should I go
That,
for that quality or should I go for money? For
right.
us, it's single. So single stop shop, single focus is a child. And we hope that child becomes an adolescent and starts earning money for their parents or for returning to the banks.
That's amazing. Uh, I also want to talk about like the fee structure. We don't have to be specific, but I'm sure people who are listening to this podcast, they'll be like, you know what? Like, do you charge an initial consultation fee, or do you have like different tiers of charging fees? We don't have to disclose the number, but if you can explain us if you have a tier system or if you charge in the beginning or in the end, how does that work?
See, it's like this. For example, if I'm working with a student who's in 12th standard, as I said, 6 to 8 months it takes for a student to get
Right.
overseas, right?
Right.
There we have a very flexible kind of fee structure. For example, you get to finish everything. You may like to pay to us, perfectly all right. Initially, maybe whatever. But when you're talking to the student at 11th standard, then you are spending 1 year with them where you're counseling, we're helping and consulting and helping them. Is possibly will charge money there.
Okay.
Because it's our effort which is going there. And obviously you would also like to pay for
Sure.
the effort.
Sure.
That's point number one. Point number two is if there is no currency exchange, the seriousness never comes in. There has to be some trade-off between the two
Sure.
parties where you say that this is the money, right, you have spending. Obviously, you would like to get professionals, and we are very expensive professionals if you take ourselves from professional point of view, from corporate standard points. But for students, we are providing you with minimal expense at your end, right? That's one. But when you're coming at the 12th standard, right, then obviously we would have so minimal. You would say that I think I'm going to spend more money in India than I'm going to spend overseas with your kind of consultants who are coming in at that level where you're conversant with every aspect of education and you're providing that consultation to us, whereas other people are passing on to other people, right, for consultation or help, right? So say that fee structure is very flexible. Sometimes it is not there at all. Sometimes it is so minimal that you would doubt, you would doubt saying that, oh, are they going to help me at all? But as they go along the process, they would understand it, right?
Okay,
I hope
so
that
that's
answers.
yeah, that's good to know. I think it was good that we touch base a little bit on the fee structure so people know,
Yeah, absolutely.
and then they can reach
So
out to you directly. Now, I mean, you seem to be a very passionate entrepreneur, and you have been a successful corporate executive as well, senior executive. What advice would you give to someone who is trying to become an entrepreneur who wants to become an entrepreneur?
So if a person has got the passion, I think you said it. Passion is the most important thing. Saying that I need to do this, I want to do this. You have an inner urge saying that this is what I need to do. Second aspect is whenever in your lifetime you get enlightenment or you get the moment of truth saying that I have taken enough from the society, it's a time for me to return to the society. You get into entrepreneurship. And I think wait for that moment of truth. It will come in everybody's life. It has come to a life of a person who sold Ferrari, all right? Very early in the stage when he got a health scare, all right? But instead of healthcare becoming a means for you to get into entrepreneurship, choose a purpose, right? Somebody told me in my lifetime, there are only 2 dates you should remember: the day when you're born and second day when you get this moment of truth, saying that what is the purpose in life? Sometimes I got purpose in life at the age of 57, all right? Some people got it very early. Possibly you got much before me, right? But it comes in everybody's life. So whenever you get a feeling of saying that, I think I should work for some community, even though without charging them or charging them is up to you. And obviously it will result in employment for other people. Because you're going to start entrepreneurship, it will start employment for others. When you become a giver to the society, this is where you would love yourself. And I think this is what I'm enjoying right now.
Love that attitude. As a closing statement, if there is a message you would like to give our audience, what would that be?
Utilize our services because we are very good. We're extremely good. And I think if you and why? Because Sid is also representing us. So that shows that, we're very good. And sometimes it's difficult to reach out to people. And somebody used to tell me all my life, a very senior executive from Tata is saying that a diamond is cut to a shape, is cut to give some radiation and some kind of brightness to people. And if you keep the diamond inside a locker, it will cut the locker as well, if it is pure diamond. So you will anyway get people will get to know you. But I think in this big world, I still do not believe in that. The diamond should also show its capability. So I think please utilize our services and try us. We are extremely good and we'll help you out. And our commitment is 100%, right? Until now, whatever we have worked all my life in 32 years in corporate, and until now in this entrepreneurship, whatever I've worked in, it's always resulted in 100% result. So we are completely committed to your cause.
Love that attitude. Mr. Ashok, it has been a blast. Even I have learned a lot about yourself, your personality, and you're so detailed and organized. And I wish you all the very best and much success that you deserve. If there is something we can do for you, please let us know. And once again, we want to thank you very much for being a part of this podcast today.
Thank you so very much. And thank you so much for providing this platform. And it was a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise. Thank you so much. You take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.